Hey everybody, I'm back with one of my special videos for you. Before I start, I know it's pretty late at night, like it's around 11:30 or something, but I still thought I was going to make this special video for you. Do subscribe to my YouTube channel and also press the bell icon so that you can get regular updates. And also do like and share my videos with your friends and family. Alright, today I have a very special subject and it is about the Assamese language. Ohomia Bhasha. I simply love this Assamese language, not because it's my mother tongue, but because it's the most romantic, most beautiful language on earth. It's one of the most beautiful. Now people are going to get into a controversy and say, no, our language is better, our language is better. Everybody's mother tongue is so beautiful. And we do not realize this till the time we start speaking in this language. Amar Ohomia Bhasha to imani dhuniya, je ami jetialeke ei bhasha to jetialeke প্ৰয়োগ নকৰো যেতিয়ালৈকে আমি যেতিয়ালৈকে ব্যৱহাৰ নকৰো তেতিয়ালৈকে আমি গম নাপাওঁ এই ভাষাটো কিমান ধুনীয়া মই এই কাৰণে কৈছো যে এই ভাষা অসমীয়া ভাষাত আমি কিমান বেলেগ বেলেগ ধৰণে আমি কথা ক'ব পাৰো হয়নে we can speak in so many different ways when we use our mother tongue because I have seen as a young girl, when I was in school, the teacher always used to tell my mother in a parent-teacher meeting that please speak in Assamese, in Ohomia when you're back home. Don't speak in English when you are at home. And please stop speaking in English when you are at home and you are having a regular conversation, because then what will happen is that if you want your child to improve in Ohomia, in Assamese, in your mother tongue, then you have to start speaking in that language, using words which she or he might not have heard. That's what the teacher always used to tell my mother. And my mother used to be very strict, very, very strict. I have stressed on the very, because she used to be extremely strict with my Assamese classes, with my Assamese lessons, with my books. I still remember because she had taught me so well, she taught me so beautifully about the Ohomia language that I still remember the 3 books I read. Amar tinikhon kitab asile, tinikhon paithyoputhi asile, এখন আসলে টলষ্টয়ৰ এখন আসলে ভানুমতি টলষ্টয়ৰ আৰু এখন আসলে how can I forget these 3 books? These books are so very precious for me. One book was Tolstoy, one was Bhanumati, and the other one was Huropi. Yes, right, now I remember it. It was Huropi. It was a collection of stories by Lokhenath Bezbora. And I just simply love these books more so for the fact that my mother used to first delve deep into it herself, and then she used to teach me. And why do I remember the names of these books is because she actually, kind of fell in love with the books and then made me fall in love with the books myself. She made sure that I fell in love with the books. And she was very strict about spellings. She was very strict about how I would pronounce a particular word in Ohomia, in Assamese. And I remember I used to get a lot of beatings. I used to be beaten black and blue because of my Assamese. Whenever my mother used to sit down to teach me in the evening, I was sure I was going to get some beating. And if I am good in Ohomia today, in my mother tongue today, it is because of my mother, because she put in her heart and soul and her blood into teaching me Ohomia, the language, and which I have not been able to do with my son because it's pretty tough. And I really feel that he has done well on his own. But then my mother has really worked hard on me with my Ohomia language, and for that I had scored a 78% in my ICSE. I still remember I was very scared once I had given my comprehension paper and my literature, all these papers. I remember I cried like anything once I came out of the exam hall, and I called up our teacher, Mrs. Beena Ahmed, God rest her soul in peace, because she's no more with us. But she after the results were out, I remember I cried in front of her, after the results were out, she called me and she said, "You've done pretty well, why did you cry?" But then it was really tough because I remember the question paper was set by Mamuni Roysam Goswami, none other than the most enigmatic and the most charismatic Mamoni Roysom Baido, and her paper was very tough because years later, when I met her in a particular in a place, I remember I told her, I complained about this particular those Okhomia papers that I did in class 10 for my ICSE. I told her, Baido, you gave us such tough papers. I remember I cried and cried like anything. But then, you know, she was so sweet. She said, oh really, how cute, iman morom lagise tumalke kandisila niki. I'm very sorry, moi book tumalke khoma koriba de, moi tumalokok iman tan paper ekhon disilu, moi koisilu je nai thike ase kuno kotha nai Baido, karon moi hekhon paper moi duikhon paper 78% score korisilu aru moi bhabu je moi hosake apnar osot kritogyo karon iman apni jodi tough paper diar pasoto jodi ami iman khini paiso ta mane ami hosake আমার শিক্ষা ভাল আছিল মোৰ মাৰ কাৰণে মোৰ আমাৰ টিচাৰৰ কাৰণে আমাৰ শিক্ষয়িত্ৰীৰ কাৰণে I remember one thing that my mother was so tough with me when it came to learning Assamese. I remember she used to give me spellings in the evening, and I remember she used to give me spellings maybe once, one word she used to give me for 100 times so that I remember it, and it used to be really tough on me because I remember if I made a mistake and for that particular spelling for more than 2-3 times, I used to get the beating of my life. So that was really scary. Growing up learning Okhomia, my mother tongue, was really scary because my mother used to beat me black and blue, which I can't do with my son now because you know, that would be next to impossible for me to beat my son because he learns on his own and he is doing great. But yes, you know what, this Okhomia language is this Okhomia Bhasha. At that point of time, this mother tongue used to be such a tough thing for us. You know, I remember it used to be a kind of a tough thing for us because, you know, we had to score, we had to do well in our exams and all those kind of things. But now I feel that Okhomia, my mother tongue, Assamese, is such a beautiful romantic language. It is one of the most beautiful languages on earth, and then I can express so much. Years later, when I got married, I remember my husband said one thing, okay, you have studied in an English medium school, but in our homes, amar ghorat kintu besikoi ingraji no solibo, yak kintu Okhomia solibo lagibo, aru tumi dher Okhomia kitab poribo lagibo, dher tumi alusoni kakot ittadi poribo lagibo. And so I was you know, a little you know, excited about it. I was not scared or anything like that because since he was a good teacher, my husband is a good teacher. So what he does is that since he told me, he advised me on this, so I got down into reading a lot of books. I got down into reading a lot of papers, newspapers, and watching television and watching, you know, kind of watching the newsreaders and what the kind of words that they used, so that it was like for me a kind of lesson. It was kind of a, you know, going back to school again and learning Okhomia from the beginning. And then every time I didn't know some word, I would when the news was being said, I would always ask my husband or my mother-in-law, and they would be very glad to explain it to me what the meaning of the word actually is. So I've learned a lot. You know, there are a lot of friends who have been in Guwahati since I grew up in Shillong. I have a lot of friends in Guwahati, and they've asked me how I have picked up the Okhomia Bhasha, the language, so beautifully, and I use words which are pretty tough for them to decipher. And then they always ask me how come mane iman tottogodhur shobdo bilak toy keneke korpa byabohar koro, keneke toy parili kenekwa heyot. My only answer to them was that because I had a love for the language, I had the desire to learn, and so what I did was, because I was reading all those books and newspapers and all those journals and whatever I could get my hands on, watching the news, so I kind of started learning. I started picking up the words and I started using them in my everyday conversation. More than English, I started conversing in Okhomia. I remember recently I was invited to one of the poetry sessions with young kids where I had to speak on poetry, and I made it a point to tell all of them that, you know, when you converse in your language, in your mother tongue, please try and converse without using any English words or any other word, any Hindi word or any other word in between, so that you can, why I'm saying this is because if some of you have not heard of Devin Dotto, he is a marvel, and I am a big fan of Mr. Devin Dotto because when he speaks, he is a resident of Guwahati. So when he speaks in Ohomia, he will speak totally in Ohomia without using a single English word in between in any of his sentences. And then again, when he speaks in English, he would not use any other word which is different from English. So that is one person we need to look at. If you still haven't met him, make it a point to meet Mr. Devin Dotto because he is an authority in language. And so a lot of people ask me, like I was saying, a lot of people ask me because I have had an interest in the mother tongue, because after I've come from Shillong, I've understood what a romantic feeling it is to be an Ohomia and to speak the language, the mother tongue that we Assamese people do speak. So I would suggest for all those people who think it is very difficult for you to speak in Ohomia in your mother tongue, converse as much as possible in Ohomia. Watch the news, watch the Ohomia newsreader speaking, and if you do not know a word, ask an elder or somebody who is an authority in the language, and I'm sure you're going to get through, because it is very beautiful when you speak your mother tongue without a single English word to actually kind of help you in your conversation. Because I feel that we can do it, we actually can do it. I have tried it and I have done it, and people are always surprised that I can speak in the language, speak in my mother tongue without a single English word in any of the sentences. মই বহুত চেষ্টা কৰি মই এইটো পৰ্যায়ত পাইছোহি যে মই কোনো এটা বাক্যত বা কোনো এটা মানে মই যেতিয়া কথাখিনি কওঁ তাৰ মাজত যেনে মই কোনো ধৰণৰ ইংৰাজী শব্দ মই যাতে ব্যৱহাৰ নকৰোঁ, মই যাতে সম্পূৰ্ণভাৱে অসমীয়া যেতিয়া কম মই অসমীয়াই মানে ক'লোঁ, আৰু যেতিয়া মই ইংৰাজী কম মই সম্পূৰ্ণভাৱে ইংৰাজী কম. I prefer to do it like that. I love to speak my mother tongue without using a single English word in between, and when I speak in English, I love to speak totally in English. So for all those people who are listening to this video, make sure that you converse with your parents, with your friends. Of course, when you're talking with your friends, you might be speaking in English or Hindi or Bengali or whatever other language you want to speak. But when you are at home, make it a point to speak in the Ohomia language. Not only just Ohomia, for all those people who have their different mother tongues, like Bengalis have their own mother tongue, Hindi speaking people have their own mother tongue, and then Odiyas have their own mother tongue. So I would suggest that each one of you, I am speaking for Ohomia right now, but then when you are speaking in your mother tongue, make sure that you do not use any English words or any other word in between which can distort your language or which can distort your mother tongue. So on this note, I'm going to say all the best to all of you for trying out. For those of you who are going to be tough, there are many stalwarts who are doing great in speaking Ohomia without a single word of English in between. But for those of you who are still trying, for my young friends out there who are still trying to master the language, to master your own mother tongue without speaking any English word in between, I will wish you all the best. Keep trying. It is not impossible at all, because I have tried it, I have done it, and it might so happen that sometimes I do use one or two English words, because when I'm in a panel discussion or when I'm in front of the camera, it becomes difficult for me to quickly think of an alternative word, because there are people who are rich in their mother tongue, because they have kept the practice alive of reading Ohomia books and journals and newspapers and watching the television. So make it a practice that you are also conversing in Ohomia most of the time, because when you go out, you will notice that out of this country, I mean when you cross borders and you go to different countries, you will notice that people there in those different countries prefer to speak in their mother tongue. They have translators. So it is not a shame if you're not speaking in English. It is not a shame at all. If you are going to speak in your mother tongue and you have a translator to translate, it's all the more better. That you'll be actually appreciated for that in countries abroad. So remember that it's absolutely okay not to speak in English. I have a lot of friends who are very, very apologetic when they talk to me, and they say that, we are not good in English. It's absolutely okay not to be good in English, but if you are good in your mother tongue, make use of it. Write, then speak in it, do videos, do whatever you can with your mother tongue, and make the best of it. And on that note, I'm going to say bye to you, but don't forget to subscribe to my channel and also press the button, that button that is there, that little bell icon, so that you can get regular updates from me. And as usual, please do like and share my video with your friends and family. I'll say bye for now. Apnalokok punar log poৱাৰ প্ৰতিশ্ৰুতিলৈ আজিলৈ আহিছো। নমস্কাৰ।